Hello friends, welcome once again to this chapter of Speed Maths by Slidescope. In this part you are going to study about quickly solving quadratic equations that are asked in competitive examinations. So in many competitive examinations for entrance, these quadratic equations are asked. So these can be asked in banking examinations, railway examinations and so on. So we must understand and we must know how to solve these equations quickly so that we can get answers and mark them quickly. So for example, I have considered one quadratic equation here. This is x square plus 5x plus 6. In case of a quadratic equation, x will have two possible values which are called root of x, and ax square plus bx plus c is the standard form of quadratic equation. In a quadratic equation, the coefficient of x raised to the power 2 is a, the coefficient of x raised to the power of 1 is b, and the coefficient of x raised to the power 0 is c. X raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. That's why we have no x written here. So this is the standard form of a quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c. Now this coefficient b can be positive and negative. This coefficient a and c also can be positive and negative. And based on the coefficients sign, our trick is dependent. So I will discuss the trick later, but first I will discuss how to solve these equations for x. How can we get the two possible values for x, and we can use the factor method to solve these equations. So we can factorize this equation so that we can get the two possible roots of x. Now first, in your mind, you have to calculate what is A, what is B, and what is C. So now I am going to discuss this factor method. Many viewers might already be familiar about the factor method to find the quadratic equation, to find the roots of quadratic equation. But if you are not familiar with finding the roots of quadratic equation using factor method, then you can watch this part. Otherwise, you can skip this part and you can move forward, or it will be a quick revision for you. So here in our case, the equation given is x square plus 5x plus 6. So in our case, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 5, everything is positive here, and 6, c is equal to 6. First you have to find a multiplied by c. So in our case, a multiplied by c is 6. Now we have to find factors of this. We have to find factors of a multiplied by c, but the factors should be such that let's say u and v are factors. So u and v are two values, and it should be such that u plus v is equal to b. The sum of these two factors should be equal to b, and u multiplied by v is equal to a multiplied by c. So u plus v is equal to b and u multiplied by v is equal to ac, where u and v are the two factors of this particular a into c. That's why u into v will be a into c. Now what are the factors of 6? What can be the two factors? So the first factors can be 1 and 6, because 1 multiplied by 6 is 6, but 1 plus 6, is it equal to 5, because u plus v should be b, and if u is 1 and v is 6, so u plus v is not equal to b in this case. This is wrong. That's why 1 and 6 cannot be the two possible factors. Now let's take another factor here. So let's say 2 and 3. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, and is 2 plus 3 equal to 5? Yes. So now we have got our two factors. First factor is 2 and second factor is 3. Now we can write our equation like this. So x square plus 2x plus 3x. We have simply broken b into two parts. So b was 5x. So 2x plus 3x is 5x plus 6x plus 6 is equal to 0. Now this becomes our equation. We can write this equation. This is the same thing. We have just broken b into two parts, 2x and 3x. Now we can take x common here in the first part, and this will become x plus 2. So if you will multiply x by x, it will be x square plus 2x. So it will again become the same thing. Then you have to take, we can take 3 common here, and when you will take 3 common here, it will become x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now from this whole equation, we can take x plus 2 common. So we can take x plus 2 common here, and next part will become x plus 3. This is equal to 0. Now either, this simply means either x plus 2 is equal to 0 or x plus 3 is equal to 0. Why? Because if the multiplication of two quantities is equal to 0, then either of them is 0 or both of them are 0. So this will give us x is equal to minus 2, and this will give us x is equal to minus 3. So this is how we can find quadratic equation, or this is how we can find the values of x in a given quadratic equation. This is how we can find the roots. So this is how you can calculate these equations. The meaning of this thing is, where will this particular equation, this is equation, right? Where will this curve touch the x-axis? Now what will be the 2 points where this curve will touch the x-axis? So it will touch the x-axis at x is equal to minus 2 and x is equal to minus 3. So it will be something like this. You can see here, this is the curve with equation ax square, with this equation. So x square plus 5x plus 6. So with this equation, a curve be like this, and it will touch the x-axis at minus 2 and minus 3, and that is the meaning of these roots here. So if you don't want to go with the curve and the where will it touch the x-axis thing, you can ignore it. You must know this factor thing so that you can understand what we are getting here. Now let's take another example. So I will clear this. So now we are taking another example here. I have written the solution of this example here. So y square plus 3y plus 2 is equal to 0. Now this is our second equation, y square plus 3y plus 2 is equal to 0. It is same as this equation, so it is also a quadratic equation. In this case also, first write a, B, C. You can do this in mind, but because I want to explain it to you, I am just doing this by writing here. So A is equal to 1 and C is equal to 2 and B is equal to 3. Again, A into C is 2 here. So we have to get our factors in such a way, we have to get those factors in such a way that the multiplication of those factors, we have to get u and v, right? U and v again. So u multiplied by v should be equal to 2 and u plus v should be equal to 3. So this is really easy here because first number can be 1, first factor can be 1 and second factor can be 2. So 1 into 2 is equal to 2, and when you will add 1 plus 3, 1 plus 2, so it will come as 3. So 1 and 2 are our roots here. So we can write it like y raised to the power of 2 plus 1 plus 2, y raised to the power of 1 plus 2y plus 2y plus 2 is equal to 0. So now you can see that our equation is now created in this way. Now we can factorize it. So we can take y common here and it will become y plus 1, and here we can take 2 common and it will become y plus 1. So we always have to find something where we have some common part here. So one common part will be y plus 1 and second common part will be y plus 2 is equal to 0. Now again, either y plus 1 is equal to 0 or y plus 2 is equal to 0. Hence the roots will be minus 1 and minus 2. Now we can write this here and we can compare it with the first part, and this is y here. Y is equal to minus 1 or y is equal to minus 2. Now write x here and y here. What is the first value of x? It is minus 2. And what is the first value of y? It is minus 1. What is the second value of x? It's minus 3. Or you can take first value of x and second value of y. Then second value of x and first value of y and second value of x and second value of y. Now you can see here, I will explain it once more. The table that you are seeing here, in this table, we have simply written the same thing. First I have written the first value of x and then I have written the second value of x. Hence, I have compared the first value of x with both values of y, and I have compared second value of x with both values of y. Because in examinations, these type of questions are asked where you have to establish a relationship between x and y. Now you minus 2 and minus 1, which number is bigger here? So minus 1 is greater than minus 2. minus 2 and minus 2 are equal. Again, minus 1 is greater than minus 3 and minus 2 is greater than minus 3. So you can see here that we are either getting greater, that simply means y is greater than or equal to x for every value of y, or every value of y is either greater than x's value or it is equal to x's value. So the relationship that can be established between y and x for these two equations, which you can see here, for these two equations, the relationship that can be established here is y is greater than equal to x, and this is our solution for these two equations. Again, for every equation we have found values of x and y respectively. These are two quadratic equations. Then you have to establish a relationship between x and y. So for x, values are minus 2 or minus 3. For y, values are minus 1 or minus 2. Then for every value of x, compare every value of y, and you will get something like this. So on one side write all values of x, on other side write all values of y, and then compare them. So first write the first value of x, then write second value of x. With first value of x, compare both values of y. With second value of x, compare both values of y. Again, this video took long and you cannot take this much time for solving one particular equation. But again, because I was explaining it to you, it took this much time. When you will do it with the trick, then I have not shared the trick yet. And this is not the trick, this factor method is not the trick of finding this. This factor method is not the trick of finding the relationship between x and y. This is just to understand how we proceed, and this is just to understand what if we have unlimited amount of time and then we have to do this. But in the competitive examinations, you have limited time, and in limited time you have to attempt most of the questions. So you cannot give a particular question too much time. So in the next part, I will explain you the trick of quadratic equation. Now you understand what is a quadratic equation. You understand how to solve quadratic equation using the factor method. In the next part, we will discuss the trick part.